Okay, so we're looking at mixed exercise 12 from the first year textbook, and it's on differentiation. So we're looking at question 11. So we're given an equation, so it's a quadratic, but we're not told any of the values of A, B, or C. And we're given two pieces of information. So let's start getting that written down. Okay, so that's the actual equation of the quadratic, and they tell me that it goes through the point 1, 2. So that's telling me that when x is 1, y is 2. So if I put that in, that's not going to be enough for me to be able to find A, B, or C. But let's see what that gives us. So 2 is, so if x is 1, 1 squared is 1. So that would just be A. B times 1 would just be B, and C. Okay, so that's one equation of 3 unknowns. So that's not going to be good enough. Then it also tells me that the gradient of the curve is 0 at 2, 1. So hopefully that's going to be a bit more helpful. So let's write out the original quadratic again. Okay, so the gradient is obviously going to be what I get through differentiating. So, so A, B, and C are just constant. So they are just values. So when I'm differentiating the ax squared, I just differentiate the x squared as normal. So I'm going to multiply by the 2, which would make that 2a. And then the power will reduce to 1. Okay. Bx, well, imagine what would happen if you were differentiating 3x or 7x. That would just differentiate to 3 or 7. So bx will just differentiate to b. Okay. Then, so I've still got A and B here, but C is obviously going to differentiate to nothing because that's just a constant. So we just differentiate a value that goes. And then it tells me that at the point, so I was going to say at the same point, but they've switched to, haven't they? So at the point where x is 2, the gradient is 0. So dy dx is 0. So if I put that in, so if x is 2, 2ax is going to be 2a times 2, so 4a. Okay, right, so I'll just move that up a bit so you can see. Okay, so that's actually still not enough information because I could make A or B the subject of this and then substitute it back into this, but I'd still have C and then either A or B. Okay, so on the face of it, they haven't given us enough information, but actually they have. They just haven't kind of made a big deal of it. But they've also told me here that it goes through 2, 1. So if I go back up here, I've got another coordinate it goes through. So I'll just squeeze that into a different color just to show that I'm adding this in purple. Okay, so if I do the same thing that I did before, so when y is 1, x is 2, so 2 squared is 4, so that's going to be 4a, that's going to be 2b, and that is going to be just plus c. Okay, so now I have got 3 equations. So now I am going to be able to solve it. And it's there's lots of variations on how I might choose to do it. I think what I will do is I will use the bottom one. So I'm going to rearrange this one and just say that b is minus 4a. I'm then going to substitute that into each of these. So let's move this up a bit on the screen. Let's see if I can move that. Yeah, let's move that somewhere out of the way. Okay. Right, so if I substitute it into this one, that's going to become 2 equals a, and then I'm going to substitute b for minus 4a. So that will tidy up into 2 equals minus 3a plus c. And then if I do the same thing with this one, so that one will become, let's write that one over here, 1 equals 4a, and then 2b is going to be that times 2, so minus 8a plus c. So that will simplify to minus 4a plus c. So let's write that one underneath there. Okay, so now I'm looking at these two equations. So they've both got a plus c. So if I subtract them, it's just got to be really careful with the negatives. So if I do the top one, take away the bottom one, 2 minus 1 is 1, minus 3a minus 4a is a, and c minus c is gone. Okay, so now so there's my value for a. Then if I go back here, in fact, I'll tell you what, why don't I use this one because it's already rearranged. So b is minus 4a, so b is minus 4 times 1, so minus 4. And if I go back, if I just use one of these, so if I just use that, I can find c. So if a is 1, this one here will become 1 equals minus 4 plus c. So if I add that 4 over, I will get c is 5. Okay, let's just double check those answers. So we're getting a is 1, b is minus 4, and c is 5. Lovely, job done.